Once upon a time, in a faraway village in the east of Africa, there was an 18-year-old beautiful girl named Olamma. She lost her mother in death 10 years ago during labor. Because Olamma was very beautiful, respectful and obedient, she was loved dearly by everyone. She was most precious and cherished by her father. She would wake up early each morning, even before the first cock crows, to fetch water from the distant stream, sweep the hut, and even prepare breakfast for everyone. Her stepmother Uju and half-brothers never appreciated her efforts, as they always found fault in everything she did and loved to see her in misery. Olamma's stepmother and half-brothers hated her so much and maltreated her whenever her father was away on business. But still, Olamma generally respected and loved them like a daughter would love her own mother and brothers. They hated her so much because she was the only daughter that their father was so proud of. One morning, Olamma informed her father of a job that she had just been offered by a friend who came to their home that morning to inform her that she was able to secure a cleaning job for her in the home of a very rich woman in the village. The father was so happy and gave her his approval. Unknowingly, Uju, Olamma's stepmother, was listening to their conversation. The next morning, the father would be going for a business trip and was to spend a month off home. After wishing him safe journey, Olamma was to resume work that same day and was going to prepare. She seemed so excited because she had heard news of how the rich woman transformed the life of her workers. So, she rushed to have a bath, as she could not risk going late for the job. But by the time she was done bathing, Olamma realized that all her clothes have been covered in smelly urine. Her stepmother and brothers, in a continuous effort to sabotage her chances of securing the job at the rich woman's home, gathered all of her clean clothes and urinated on them. They did this to ensure that Olamma had no clothes to wear, apart from the wrapper she tied on her chest. Olamma stood there confused as she saw all her clothes spread with smelly urine. She had nothing else to wear and was to resume the new job in less than an hour. She went into her room, sat on her bed, as tears began to drop from her eyes, as the stepmother and brothers laughed hysterically in their room, as they mocked and made fun of her. With each ticking of the clock, Olamma watched as the golden opportunity slipped off her hands, an opportunity that she had prayed for and sought for a very long time. She locked herself in her room and wept for hours. She had no one to cry to, so she called her friend on the phone and told her about the current situation. Her friend offered to assist her by lending her some clothes to put on for the interview. Olamma was a bit relieved and happy. She wiped her tears and approached the door to go to her friend's place, but the door was locked outside by her stepmother and brothers. Her stepmother and half-brothers had locked the door and the windows for her not to get outside the house. She grabbed her phone to call her friend again about the situation, but she didn't succeed because they had snatched the phone from her hand. This was one of Olamma's worst experiences with her family. She wished her father was around. She could not help but cry out loud, calling on her deceased mother to save her from the life of misery that she endured. She wondered what she had done wrong in life to deserve this kind of treatment from her stepmother and brothers, whom she loved with all her heart. Olamma, in that moment, remembered how she saved her stepmother's life in the past. Her stepmother was asthmatic, and she became so sick and needed an inhaler to help her recover. No one was available to assist, but Olama ran helter-skelter to help her recover. Despite this, Olama's stepmother still harbored immense hatred for her and seized every opportunity to unleash her terror on Olama's life. Olama was locked indoors from that morning till the next day with just one square meal to eat. The next morning, Olama came out of her room to wash the clothes that her stepmother and brothers messed up, but she met another huge pile of clothes belonging not only to her stepmother but to all her half-brothers. She sat outside their house all day as she washed a huge pile of clothes, vigorously hurting her fingers in the process. By the time she was done washing, it was already sunset, and everywhere was about to go dark. Olama, hungry and exhausted, was so happy to be done. She walked into the kitchen to find something to eat, but she met her stepmother, who sent her to the forest to fetch some firewood. The skies had now gone dark. Olama knew how dangerous the forest was at night. She pleaded with her stepmother to allow her to fetch the wood in the next morning. But her stepmother refused and insisted that Olama must fetch the firewood now or risk sleeping outside their house for the rest of the night with empty stomach. Olama left with no other option. She was extremely terrified as the villagers avoided the forest at night because of the horrifying stories they had heard from people who dared to venture into the forest at night. Olama slowly approached the entrance of the forest, her heart beating like a drum. She quietly walked into the forest and began to gather the wood. Her stepmother and brothers remained home as they ate their dinner, ensuring to leave just little food for Olama to eat when she returned. They left dirty dishes in the basin for her to wash when she comes back. They retired to bed, not caring that Olama was still out alone in the dark forest. After a few hours, she returned home to meet little food in the pot and stacks of dirty dishes in the kitchen. Her heart bleed as she washed the plates and retired to bed. Her empty stomach groaned all night, making it difficult for her to sleep. By morning, Olama felt a splash of water on her face. Her stepmother stood over her, glaring angrily and pointing outside the hut. Olama obediently walked outside the hut and knelt under the sun for an hour as punishment for waking up after her stepmother. It was only 6 in the morning, and her stepmother had warned her repeatedly that any day she woke up after her would resort to an hour of kneeling under the sun. Her half-brothers, however, were still fast asleep in their rooms, while Olama served punishment for waking up late. Once she was done, she swept the house and did all the home chores. Thereafter, her stepmother sent her to the market to buy some food items, and Olama set out to the market immediately. On her way, she decided to stop at her friend's house to confirm if the job was still available, and her friend informed her that someone else had taken the job. Olama, disappointed at the news, decided to hurriedly rush into the market to avoid her stepmother's wrath. She returned a few minutes later to find her stepmother in distress and realized that her stepbrother could no longer walk or talk. Several healers were consulted, but no one seemed to have the power to cure his strange sickness. Days passed, and Olama watched as her brother's condition began to grow worse. Her stepmother was too occupied with finding a cure for her son that she had no time to torment Olama's life. Although this was a form of relief for Olama, she could not help but to feel compassion for her stepmother, who began to look like a shadow of herself. One night, as everyone was fast asleep, Olama decided to check on her half-brother. She walked into his room and found him fast asleep. Then she placed a hand on his head and healed him instantly. She rushed out of the hut before everyone could find out. And in the morning, the people were shocked to see her half-brother healed and healthy. They wondered how he got his healing, as no powerful man or woman in the village had been able to heal him of his strange sickness. What the people did not know was that Olama was born with great powers, capable of healing the deadliest of diseases. She had kept her healing powers a secret for all these years, as she could not risk anyone finding out that she could heal. This was because anytime Olama used her healing powers, she became older. What she did not know was that her stepmother saw everything that happened last night through the window. She kept quiet for days and approached Olama one morning to ask why he never told anyone about her powers. Olama paused and pretended not to know what she was talking about. Her stepmother narrated how she saw Olama healing her son the other night, and Olama could not help but remain speechless. Her stepmother then told her that she would use her power to make money for them by healing anyone that she brought for healing. Olama tried to explain to her stepmother that this would be impossible because the more that she helped people heal, the older that she became. But the stepmother was not ready to listen and understand. She went on to threaten Olama that if she went against her plan, she would tell the whole village that she is a witch. Olama immediately broke down in tears as she was scared of what would become of her if she healed so many people. Her stepmother did not care, as all she was focused on was the money she would make from her newfound healing business. She then began to approach sick people, insane people, lame, blind, and so on and so forth. And not long afterward, Olama found herself healing not less than 10 people in a day. The frequent healings began to make Olama age, and her face began to develop age lines, and her hands wrinkled like those of an old woman. Olama wished that her father was home to save her. She endured as her stepmother made her heal strangers day and night for money. She even starved her of food and locked her up in her room, saying that she would run away. This went on for days, and Olama felt terribly ill and became so old and sick. Her stepmother, despite knowing that she was sick, forced her to heal more people. The more that she healed, the weaker and older she became. One day, her stepmother brought an old man for healing. When the old man saw the state that Olama was in, he was saddened and decided to do something about it. He waited for when she was about to heal him and stopped her, telling her that she too needed healing. She watched as the old man stretched out his hand towards her, and in that instant, Olama felt her strength and youth. She was extremely shocked and wondered who the old man was. She asked, and the old man revealed to her that he was also a healer. He said that he was passing by when he overheard two men discussing a girl who could heal people, and he decided to go in search of the healer, hoping that she possessed similar powers to his. Olama was amazed to meet a fellow healer. However, Olama was unsure if she could actually restore his age, as she had only healed people in the past. She stretched out her hands, and immediately, Olama watched as the old man transformed into a handsome-looking man. Olama was amazed, as she never knew that she was also an age restorer. She stood there amazed, and suddenly, they began to hear some commotion outside the hut. They rushed to check what was happening and met Olama's father, who had just returned from his trip. to meet sick people lined up outside his house. The wife was shocked to see her husband back home in less than 1 month. Olama's friend had already informed his father about Olama's current situation, so he had to hurry back home. He was so furious to realize how wicked his wife was to force his daughter to heal complete strangers for money, even when she knew that doing so was detrimental to his daughter's health. If you were Olama's father, what would you have done to Olama's stepmother? Please, let us know by dropping your comment. Olama's father, unable to condone such level of wickedness, sent his wicked wife packing and warned her never to come close to his house again until further notice. Please, thumbs up if what the father did was nice. Olama later fell in love with Nnamdi, who turned out to be the only son of the rich woman, whom she was supposed to work for as a cleaner. That was how Olama's life changed for the better, as she married into an extremely wealthy family that loved and cared for her like her own. The lesson: the relationship between a stepmother and her stepchildren can be complex and delicate. While some stepmothers can be loving and supportive, others can be cruel and manipulative. Olama's story is a heartbreaking example of the latter. Despite her kindness and obedience, Olama faced immense cruelty and hardship at the hands of her own stepmother and half-brothers. So, as a father, it's essential to be aware of the potential risks and challenges that can arise when introducing a new partner into your child's life. Here are some reasons why a father or mother should be cautious when introducing a step-parent into their child's life. Number 1. Emotional trauma. A cruel and manipulative step-parent can cause significant emotional trauma to a child, leading to a long-term psychological damage. Number 2. Favoritism. A step-parent may favor her own biological children over her stepchildren, creating tension and conflict within the family. Number 3. Lack of boundaries. A step-parent may overstep her boundaries and try to discipline or control her stepchildren, leading to resentment and rebellion. Number 4. Manipulation. A step-parent may manipulate her partner into turning against his own children, creating a toxic and defensive family environment. Olama's story serves as a cautionary tale for parents to be vigilant and protective of their children when introducing a new partner into their lives. By being aware of these potential risks and taking steps to mitigate them, parents can help ensure their children's emotional well-being and safety. If you like the story, please subscribe and share to others. Also, please let us know what you learned from this story in the comment section. Please subscribe to this channel. We love you.